Nobody told you that the shoes on your feet are basically a billboard. Every single time you walk into a room in heels, people are already forming opinions about you before you even open your mouth. And the crazy part, most women have no idea what they're actually saying. So today we're going to break down exactly what your heels are communicating to the world. Because once you know this, you will never look at your shoe collection the same way again. Think about the last time you saw a woman walk into a room in a pair of tall, sharp stilettos. Be honest. You already had a thought about her before she said a single word. That's not you being judgmental. That's just how the human brain works. We read people through visual cues constantly. And shoes, specifically heels, are one of the loudest cues we give off. There's actually research behind this. Studies have shown that people make judgments about personality, status, and even how approachable someone is, all based on footwear alone. So if you've ever wondered why certain shoes make you feel different, or why people treat you differently depending on what you're wearing on your feet, this video is going to answer all of that for you. We're going to go style by style, heel by heel, and I'm going to tell you exactly what message you're sending out to the world without even realizing it. Let's start with the classic stiletto, because this is probably the most misunderstood heel out there. A lot of people assume that wearing a stiletto automatically means you're trying to be sexy or get attention. And yeah, sure, sometimes that's part of it. But what a stiletto actually communicates runs a lot deeper than that. When you put on a stiletto, especially a pointed toe one in a neutral color like black, nude, or red, you are telling the room that you are intentional. Everything about a stiletto is deliberate. You don't accidentally wear a 4-inch heel. You made a choice, you committed to it, and you showed up anyway. That reads as confidence to the people around you, whether you feel confident or not. And here's the interesting part. Research from the University of Portsmouth found that people walk differently in heels, with shorter, more frequent steps, and that this change in gait actually made observers perceive the wearer as more attractive and more dominant. So it's not just the shoe itself, it's the way the shoe physically changes how you move through the world. A stiletto forces good posture. It slows you down just enough to look composed, and it makes people pay attention. Now that doesn't mean stilettos are for everyone, or that you need to wear them. But if you do, know that the world sees you as someone who does not settle for comfortable when impressive is an option. Now let's talk about block heels, because this is where things get really interesting from a perception standpoint. The block heel has had a serious comeback over the last few years, and it's not just because they're more comfortable, it's because of what they represent culturally right now. If you're walking around in a chunky block heel, especially in a bold color or an interesting material, you're telling people that you know what's going on in fashion, but you're not desperate to prove it. There's a kind of quiet confidence that comes with the block heel that you honestly don't get from a stiletto. The stiletto is loud confidence. The block heel is calm confidence. People who wear block heels tend to be perceived as more grounded, more approachable, and more creative. And that's not an accident, because the block heel first became popular in fashion-forward circles before it hit the mainstream. So wearing one signals that you have taste, not just that you follow trends. There's also something really important about comfort and the signals it sends. When you wear something that looks stylish but also lets you actually function and move through your day, it says you value yourself enough to not suffer just to look good. That actually comes across as a form of self-respect to people observing you, even if they can't put their finger on why. The block heel says, I've done the work. I know who I am. And I don't need a 4-inch spike to prove it. Now, let's get into kitten heels, because these have a reputation problem, and it honestly needs to be fixed. For a long time, kitten heels got this unfair label of being boring, or something your mom wore in the 90s. But the perception around them is actually shifting in a major way, and the message they send is a lot more powerful than people give them credit for. A kitten heel, when worn well, communicates elegance without trying too hard. It says restraint. It says I don't need to shout to be heard. There's a reason so many powerful women in politics and business have gravitated toward the kitten heel over the years. It keeps you polished without sacrificing mobility. It's the shoe equivalent of speaking calmly in a loud room. People lean in. They pay attention. And because a kitten heel is so understated, when you pair it with something strong, like a sharp blazer or a structured bag, the whole look hits differently. The contrast does the work. The kitten heel also reads as someone who is in control of their choices, not following what everyone else is doing, not trying to add height to compete, just choosing exactly what feels right and owning it fully. That kind of certainty is actually really rare, and people pick up on it without even knowing why they're drawn to you. Platform heels are a completely different conversation, and I think they're one of the most misread styles out there. Because on the surface, a platform heel looks like it's all about drama. And yes, a 6-inch platform is going to turn heads, but what platforms actually communicate has a lot to do with personality and self-expression rather than pure status or power like a stiletto would. When someone walks in wearing a platform, especially something with a lot of height or an unusual design, they're essentially saying, I'm not trying to blend in. I have a point of view and I'm not going to hide it. Platforms have deep roots in subcultural fashion, from the 70s glam rock scene to 90s rave culture, to the Y2K revival we're seeing right now. So wearing a platform automatically connects you to this idea of being bold, being expressive, being someone who lives outside of the standard rulebook. And that's actually magnetic to people. Even if someone doesn't personally like the shoe, they respect the commitment. There's also something really playful about platforms. They're not trying to be serious. They're fun. And fun is contagious. People who wear platforms are often perceived as social, open, and confident enough to take a risk on something that not everyone is going to love. That takes guts. And guts gets noticed. Mules with a heel are next, and these are fascinating because of how much their message has changed in recent years. For a long time, heeled mules were seen as kind of casual, something you'd throw on around the house, or run a quick errand in. But today, a heeled mule in the right material, like a strappy leather mule or a pointed toe satin one, reads as completely effortless chic. And effortless is actually one of the hardest